Innovate or die is modern business's success mantra. Any business that wants to remain in contention in modern times, therefore, must constantly find new ways to serve the market, solve problems, improve processes, increase productivity, and edge out competition so as to gain market penetration and expansion. Innovative thinking would also help your business to reduce operational costs, improve brand recognition, increase turnover and profitability, attract quality partnerships and alliances, improve employee satisfaction, improve brand reputation and clout, and achieve product renewal, among other benefits. On today's episode, we engage with a photography entrepreneur who has utilized brilliant, innovative marketing ideas to catapult his photography business to exponential success. Welcome, Adedayo Fashesin, CEO, Untitled Photography.
Now, I'd like to know, how did this photography journey begin for you?
Okay, the photography journey started when I was in my primary school.
Oh.
I started scribbling, sketching, and painting the former generals. We have Olusegun Obasanjo, prominent at that time.
Yeah.
Then scribbles for cartoon characters. We actually have a cardboard that time where we scribble all these things on.
Okay.
Eventually, I graduated into drawing professionally with the aim of selling.
Even in primary school?
Yes.
So you already had this entrepreneurial aptitude,
Exactly.
inclination since while you were in primary school.
Exactly.
And you were already documenting portraits of prominent figures by just sketching and drawing on cardboards.
Yeah,
Interesting. Interesting. So how did you metamorphose from this little toddler who was drawing on cardboards to the professional entrepreneurial photographer that we have today?
Okay, it's actually a series of journey.
Please explain to us, we're interested.
Okay, so I started from drawing cartoon characters, Voltron at the time, Super Ted, and all these comic characters.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So I draw, then eventually I started drawing portraits, I said, of the prominent generals.
Yeah.
Eventually I draw on the available, I used the available cardboards and the materials available to me at that time.
At that time.
So we had the cardboard, we had nylon.
Yeah.
I had the nylon over them, just like the frames we do now. So I cut them into 5x7 pieces, make the cardboard and put the nylon over it.
Like bread nylon.
Exactly. So just for the purpose of, and I asked my uncle to sell.
Yeah. You actually gave your uncle to go and sell that kind of a thing.
Things for me. So eventually, he didn't want to disappoint me. So eventually, I think he took it to himself and gave me the money. So
That he has sold it.
I sold it. So that's my first start up.
So as a little toddler, you were drawing on sketches and using ordinary cellophane nylon to cover it up. And you thought that was a frame, a photography frame.
Exactly. For me, that was a frame. My own world, little world.
In your little world,
Yeah,
that was a frame.
Exactly.
And then you got one of your uncles and asked him to sell it for you.
So
But the uncle probably kept it somewhere and gave you money instead, and I've sold it. And that encouraged you to do more.
Exactly.
Fantastic, fantastic. Little did that uncle know what he was doing at that time, that he was already nurturing a seed in you, an entrepreneurial seed.
Yes.
So I'd like to know, how did you evolve from that little toddler who was sketching and drawing and attempting to sell those sketches to the entrepreneurial photographer that we have today?
From primary school, I do fine arts. I had my teacher there, Mr. Dada, who taught me, nurtured the talents in me.
Okay.
So amongst all my peers then drawing, he told me one thing. He said, Dayo, I don't want you to erase at all.
Wow.
Yeah, I want you to draw this table, I want you to draw this ball without making use of an eraser.
Your fine art teacher.
My fine art teacher. So he actually nurtured that talent in me by making me more precise in my art. So from that point in time, I started drawing for my school, winning competitions, inter-school competitions. Then eventually I graduated and moved to secondary school.
Okay.
So from that time, I started drawing for my senior colleagues then.
In school?
School.
They will commission you to draw for them.
Biology assignment, they have any assignment that's drawing related, I draw for them.
Wow.
Then they pay me, either in cash or probably ask for maybe food, these things in return. Maybe just, those who don't have.
So you've been exchanging
trade.
value for value, right from that very early age.
Yes,
so how did you now acquire the photography techniques?
Okay, I told you from when I was my final year in school, I linked up with my senior colleague. Actually runs a motion ground.
A student who also had a business of photography on campus.
So he actually
took you on as an apprentice.
I started from the dark days. That's the dark room experience.
Analog photography. So it's a very interesting experience. So most times, those times, I need to be precise in getting the right shot,
temperature, lighting for the shot, because I didn't want to waste film.
Yeah.
So it taught me how to do these things. Those are the values I still maintain till today.
So you were trained with analog photography.
Yes.
And that helped you to sharpen your skills.
In terms of precision.
In terms of precision.
And lighting.
So how long did you train under this your senior colleague for?
Okay, I just trained within a year.
Okay.
Because I just had about 1 year.
Okay.
Before I finished my
university.
Yes.
So you started to practice professionally just about the time you were going to graduate from university.
Exactly.
All right.
So after I graduated from university, I need to take my career further. So I need to enroll into an professional academy where I could learn. Those times, there's an evolution that time from the analog to digital. So I needed to evolve. My friend didn't evolve on time, so I needed to move ahead of him. Said, guy, we cannot be doing this way again. People are going to digital.
So you recognized that the analog training you had, we started with, was inadequate for the time.
It's not sustainable.
So after you had acquired that analog photography knowledge,
yes,
and you had started practicing professionally,
yes,
you went back to retrain yourself in digital photography.
That was the experience.
Awesome.
So I went to the academy. I learned the rudiments of how to operate a digital camera, which is very, very different. It's a bit different from the analog.
Yeah, that you were exposed to earlier.
Exposed to those times.
How would you say that all of your journey as an art student, as an art aficionado, to the time you acquired photography business, were there points of convergences
between my art journey
and the photography journey that you have now?
Yes, because I would say that you don't do photography, you become a photographer.
I don't get that. Please
you don't
explain.
do photography, you become a photographer.
Coming up.
So the photo is about you understanding how to use light
to
communicate. But the graphic aspect is where you measure dimensions. You look at depth of field,
yes,
and stuff like that, and composition, and what have you.
You can actually approach photography in two ways.
Okay.
By becoming the photographer or by doing photography. What we have nowadays are mechanical photographers who don't understand the process of taking pictures.
Really?
Yeah, you just think photography is just about taking a snapshot.
So you believe there are two approaches,
yes,
that are prevalent today.
Yes.
One approach that attempts to practice photography as a vocation.
Yes.
And the other approach that practices it as an art.
It's an art, exactly.
Take us through the process of practicing photography as an art.
As an art, okay. If you understand, photography is actually a combination of two words: photo and light.
Okay.
Photo is light. Then the graphic aspect is the dimensions, shapes, and has to do with the vector.
Okay.
And the art aspect also. So it's supposed to understand the photo aspect and not understand the graphic. So we have most people who actually call professional photographers photo. Okay, you have the photo you see around. So if they call them photo, they're not mistaken. But that graphic aspect is the art dimension to it.
Wow.
which we need to balance up to make a photographer.
So the photo is about you understanding how to use light,
Use light to
to
take pictures.
communicate.
That's what-
Approach from where the angle of the light
Exactly.
is, take your pictures, and boom, you're gone.
Good.
But the graphic aspect is where you measure dimensions. You look at depth of field,
Yes.
and stuff like that,
Composition.
you know, and composition and what have you.
Yes.
So, if you were commissioned to take a photograph, maybe portrait, take us through the stage by stage, as a photography expert that has the photo skills and the graphic skills.
Yes. Okay, I will look at the personality of, first of all, my own approach is that I look at the personality of the portrait, the person I'm taking.
The subject.
Exactly.
Okay,
So,
that's one.
First,
The personality.
I try and study the personality.
Okay,
Who is he? What is his interests?
okay,
Because I need to understand how he thinks,
okay,
what he loves,
okay,
what makes him tick. So I do a background check and background study of him. Ask friends, ask colleagues.
his personality type, values,
Exactly.
and an outlook. How the person thinks.
Exactly.
Is the outlook that he has on life.
Right. Yeah. So
How do you? Okay, you ask questions from
people around.
around.
Exactly.
Okay, and then the data you gather will now form what decision?
Now, when I do that, when I get to the when it's time to take portraits, I use those that I've gathered in forming my art dimension to that photo. For example, I want to take a picture of let's say Wole Soyinka, for example. Okay, I know he's an intelligent man. I know he's a scholar, an award-winning scholar, a poet. You understand? So when I get to the photography scene, or I get to the presence of my subject, I don't approach him any other way, but I approach him intelligently. Okay, I look at his recent achievements. Okay, probably he actually won an award recently. I just comment about that. Oh, I saw that he just won an award with so and so and so. That lightens him up. That opens him up. Oh, you actually know about this award. So we start conversing. So from that point in time, he opens himself up to me.
So you need the subject to open up to you.
Exactly. That's the first process.
So there's an interaction between the subject and the photography lens, as well as the photographer's mind.
Exactly.
So that's three-dimension interaction.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
you want to achieve that.
Because eventually, your pictures your pictures is more a reflection of the photographer than the subject. See, your picture is the measure of the work you have done behind the scene. Yeah, that result. The picture is the result of the work you've done behind the scene.
So it's not just about putting camera and snapping.
It's not.
Because for most of us, it's just bam, bam, bam.
Okay.
And then we process it out and print it out.
Okay.
And boom,
in that case, he called you guys a photo then.
So I don't have the graphic.
That graphic aspect.
All right, you've told us about how you try to gather data about the personality of the subject. And then the data you gather, you integrate it into your process.
Yeah.
What are the other things that we will find on your checklist in terms of the steps you take when you've been commissioned to do a photographic portrait of a particular person?
Okay, we need to understand the environment we're taking pictures in. Now, for the same Wole Soyinka now, there are certain environments locations we need to take the pictures from, not just not
just anywhere.
We need to be intentional with our results, the results we are looking at. Okay, we can look at the library. Okay, you have a personal library, because there's some places you enter that are your comfort zone. You know, it's about opening up. So you need to.
It's about getting the subject to open up
so
easily.
There's some places you put the subject in that it feels uncomfortable. So it cannot open up.
Like Soyinka loves nature.
He loves nature.
So if you embed him in nature environment, it tends to open him up.
Yeah. those are the places that will get.
As opposed to if you take him to a 5-star hotel.
Oh, no.
That's not his thing.
It's not his thing at all. So,
okay, so we've talked about the personality of the subject.
Yes.
You've also talked about the environment where you will embed the subject during the photo shoot.
Yes.
What other things do you look out for?
So when we get to the scene itself, we need to understand, number one, the likes and his dislikes.
Okay.
Okay, what are the things he likes to do? Like now, we are in a scene, when the setup, this is a setup for a show.
Yeah.
Where we still have wine in front of us.
Yes.
So that makes it like a casual.
Wine makes a merry heart.
Merry heart. So we understand that
this is about merry making. It's about
why you're just gisting over
exactly over a glass of wine.
Glass of wine.
Yeah.
So that's it. You have to understand that. What kind of wine does it take? You understand? These are the things that makes him comfortable.
Yeah.
In his zone.
I think we've learned a thing or two, technically speaking, about the photography business. Let's go into the business aspect itself. If we have sufficient time later, we might return to this. But we're more interested here on this show about the entrepreneurial principles and practices in contemporary times. You have been able to carve a niche for yourself in the photography business, specifically in the children area.
Yes, sir.
Was that deliberate? Was that intentional?
At the initial state, I didn't know I was cut out for that.
Okay.
No.
You started by doing the general.
Yeah, just like you enter your university, you do physics, chemistry, biology, and all that, further maths, and all that subjects. But eventually, you discover that I'm actually better in this subject than this. So also, I went to photography, doing everything: burials, weddings, namings, name it. All genres of photography. I did everything. Product photography, everything. But I discovered that I needed to tie my photography to a particular passion. When you wake me up to take pictures, I discovered that if it's not a certain kind of genre of photography, I'm not excited. Oh, wow. I'm not to take burial. Probably I'm excited because of the money. But that money will not excite me too long. Because you spend the money, then you go back.
So as you journeyed in the business, taking all manners of photography genres, you started to find out that for certain genres, you had intense passion.
Exactly.
For some others, you had very lukewarm passion.
Exactly.
And that began to tell you, perhaps this is the area of my strength, and this is where I should concentrate on. Because I've spoken to people, before you were qualified to be featured on the program, we did a research on you, and we found out around that for children photography, it was attitude. For portrait, it was a certain kind of person, and so on and so forth. And we did our research, and we found out that consistently and persistently, everybody kept saying, for around this vicinity, that for children photography, it was that guy. So that's why I was curious to find out how you discovered that was the niche area you should train your major focus on. Now you've been able to clarify that for us. So how did you go about, because conceiving an idea and actualizing it successfully, there are two different ball games.
Exactly.
You've been able to conceive that this should be your area, the genre of your focus. You do other photography, but you concentrated more on the children photography. I'd like to know what you had to go through before you were able to successfully actualize that concept that was in your head.
Okay, imagine passion with this, my passion for kids and families to photography.
Okay.
So I was doing that successfully. Up to the point I discovered that I needed to much more carve a niche for myself by making sure that my method was different from others.
Tell us about that.
Okay, so I started a milestone documentary company about 6 years ago. I discovered that most times the reason why people take pictures are for birthdays, for moments, for memorable moments.
Yeah, to archive memories.
Yes. Sometimes just you're happy, you walk into the studio and take pictures. But most times it's for documenting milestone moments. My son is 1 year old. I want to document the moment. He comes to the studio to take pictures.
Yeah.
So I need to delve into that aspect. I take
you wanted to tap into that tradition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Of people taking pictures of milestone.
So you studied the environment,
Studied,
and then you
exactly.
realized that this is what makes people do this,
Exactly.
and you found out that that could be turned into a marketing strategy for yourself.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Go
Because
ahead.
you don't just take pictures of babies. You just be happy and
Brilliant.
because if there's no structure to this thing, eventually you just find that your passion fizzles out eventually because you go out of passion, you burn out because you just take pictures of baby without having a central focus to it.
So now let's explore that structure.
Yes.
You observed that the society likes to document and archive milestones.
Yes.
And then you thought that was a very good marketing strategy
Yes.
that could be tapped into and leveraged upon.
Yes.
Now, how were you able to integrate that into a successful marketing strategy for your organization?
Okay, so I discovered that when I needed to type and tie these things together, I discovered that the market was actually very large. Okay, let me just give you an example.
Please.
Okay, when you give birth to a child today, the first thing you do, you want to take the newborn pictures.
Yeah.
Newborn portrait of a
Yeah.
baby. That's new gifts.
We even take photography of the bumps.
Of the
these
bump.
days.
Okay, we start from the bump.
Yeah, and the bumps.
Yeah, the maternity
Yeah,
shoots.
then baby shower.
Yeah.
Then we move from there.
From there.
So before the baby arrives, we started taking
Take
pictures
of the
these
baby.
days.
From
Yeah.
the maternity shoot.
Yeah.
You get to the newborn shoot.
Yeah.
Take pictures of the newborn. After that time, we go take pictures of the 3 months.
Yeah.
Those are the milestones we take
Yeah.
pictures of. After 3 months shoot, they come for the 6 month shoot. After 6 months shoot, some people come for the 9 month shoot. Afterwards, they now do a 1-year-old shoot. Then they progress. 2-year-old, 3-year-old. I still took pictures of a 4-year-old girl.
Wow.
I started taking pictures of her since maternity.
Wow.
I'm telling you, it was a very, very interesting experience.
Wow.
Seeing her grow all those milestones and seeing a customer stick with you from maternity, from maternity to a 4-year-old.
Wow. And in each of the major milestones, you were invited to document it.
Yes.
Now, if you ask me, that's a genius marketing. That's genius marketing because it's in a kind of way, a way of building a retainership for yourself.
Exactly.
You know, so you didn't have to spend the entire period prospecting for business.
Yes, sir.
You already, once you get a particular prospect
Yes.
in your kitty, you find a way to tie that prospect's umbilical cord
Yeah.
to your organization's services, and then you begin to get repeat purchase from that particular person.
Yes.
That for me is genius marketing, if you ask me. So now you've been able to figure out that if you're able to be an expert in children photography, and you do it well, then you will have had an opportunity of getting repeat purchase from that particular family.
Yes, sir.
Now take it forward. How did you ensure that they come back?
Okay. That is where the marketing plan comes in.
Tell us about it.
Okay. The process is very interesting.
Yeah.
And it's very pleasurable and enjoyable. But we needed to make it something that it can be repeated.
Yeah.
Because the only reason why
Because
they come
from a 3-month fetus
exactly.
till 21 years when the child leaves the nest.
Exactly.
And of course they'll be coming home for anniversaries and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, that's our prayer, that our children will leave the nest between the ages of 18 and 21.
Exactly.
After which they will have graduated from school and all of that.
Yeah.
So if you are able to get a family to commission you to do milestone documentation of that child, then that means you're going to have at least 50 patronage from that family in 20
Exactly,
years.
20 years.
Minimum of 50.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you have 1,000 families scattered all around,
That is interesting.
that's about 5 million.
Yes.
You know, and the compounding rate by which that
Figures.
expands.
Exactly.
And that's why I said that is genius marketing,
Yes, sir.
that you have conceived. And it's obviously working for you.
Yes, sir.
And that's why I'm interested in exploring further. After you've been able to get a family in your kitty, and you've been able to convince them that they need to document the milestones from 3 months to 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, 2 years, and so on and so forth. How do you ensure that they don't do the 1-year shoot and go to another photographer to do the 2-year shoot?
Yeah.
You've convinced them that they need to do documentation of milestones.
Yes.
No problem about that.
Yes, sir.
How do you ensure that it is you they come back to?
Coming up.
When you're doing something and you're getting it right, in our environment, people tend to copy it.
Copying is allowed.
Yeah.
You can copy my pictures.
Yeah.
But if you don't understand why I did what I do, you get confused along the journey. Okay, we discovered that we need to create a reason why they come back.
Okay.
The first reason why they will come back is because of our delivery.
Okay.
We don't do the regular. If you're doing a milestone documentary, we go all out to do that.
How do you mean?
Okay, by making sure we update our props. So the props you use for the 1-year-old is not the same thing you use for the 2-year-old.
Okay.
So we make sure we buy more props, build more things for ourselves so that.
So there's versatility and dynamism.
Exactly. And dynamism, yeah, you have to increase.
So that's one way you ensure customer retention.
Exactly.
What other things do you do?
So we do that. So eventually, they keep seeing pictures of probably child is 1 year old this year. Yeah. Now it's going to be 2 year old next year. Yeah. They keep seeing pictures of the 2-year-old. It's like instead putting those pictures in front of them in terms of Instagram, in terms of advertising.
You put those pictures
in front of them. So
now let's look at your props, because you mentioned props.
Yes.
That, in my own opinion, is the domain of movie production. But I mean, we never hear of props in photography business. While growing up, I know that my mom would just match us all to the photographic studio, and all of us will stand the same way and boom, boom, take the photograph, and we're going to wait for it to come out. There was never anything like props and what have you. So I found that interesting when you mentioned it, that photographers now use props.
Exactly.
What kind of props are we talking about here?
For photo shoots, there are themes to it. Mostly for child photography. There are themes to it. You can say you want to do a character theme, which can be Super Ted, it could be Minnie Mouse, it could be Paw Patrol. All these kids' fantasies. You see in cartoons. So sometimes some of them pick some cartoon characters and they become their favorites.
Every time my nephew visits my house, he's always asking for Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol is very
every time. Paw Patrol.
So we try and incorporate that in their milestone journey by creating props in that regard. So eventually, in the setup, they feel like they're actually in the cartoon they fantasize about. So that makes them lively. You see them jumping around when they see all these characters.
So you try to recreate the context of their favorite superheroes, and you embed them in that context. Do you know the kind of psychological benefits that you'll be conferring into the minds of such a child? Wow, awesome.
Very, very interesting.
This is fantastic, but what other kind of props do you use?
We use
and I bet if it's for the ladies who would like to think more about Dora and what have you.
Dora,
you get that for them as well.
Babalo, you know. Sophia the First.
I mean, I can imagine if back in the day we had Big Bird. I have some photographs with him. That's what we had back in the day. Exactly. Or at some point, Pocahontas. If Pocahontas was going to feature in my photography session as a 9-year-old girl, come on.
It's very interesting.
You know, so this is another form of marketing, because a lot of our people do not know that marketing is purely about psychology. Purely about psychology. It's about resonating with the emotions of the prospects or the subjects. And here you are, digging up props that will help you to strike a strong resonance with the emotion of the children, which will want to make them want to come back to altitude, again and again, their parents. And of course, that's going to even also give them, when they grow up, that, emotional pull back to their brand. When you're doing something and you're getting it right, in our environment, people tend to copy it. Have you had that experience?
Yeah, really. That's copying everything now.
Yeah, there are other photographers who say, that's what that guy is doing. That's making him succeed. We're going to copy that. Has that happened?
Really, it has happened.
Okay, so how are you dealing with it? Because that's why I asked that question.
Okay, copying is allowed,
Yeah.
but you need to understand the foundation. You can copy my pictures.
Yeah.
But when you can understand why I did what I do, you get confused along the journey.
Yes, but some people are very good at copying.
Okay, you keep copying. But
No! I mean, if you use cartoon props, then it's very easy for me to go to, some market. I don't want to mention markets now.
Okay.
I can go to Costain and buy the same props, put it in my photo studio, and of course I begin to drive traffic.
How do you use them? The way you use them makes a difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you have a point there.
No, the way you use all these props. You just throw. I see most photographers buy props and just throw it at the subject. You just put it this way, put this. No, there's a way to. You should understand there's an art dimension to all these props. There's a way to combine them alongside with the milestone figure that you have. If it's 1 year old, the milestone 1 year, then you have the props around. There's a way to combine these things to make it mature.
So you're applying what people do in movie production, the set design, the props person, costumiers.
Yes.
And then you have your director who directs the shoot. You seem to be bringing all of the elements of cinematography into photography.
But really, you know that photography started before movie production.
Yeah, but along the line, photographers were having their own day, cinematographers were having their own day.
They were having their own day. They actually.
But you guys, so there were divergences back in the day.
But now
there were very clear-cut divergences. But you guys seem to have brought a convergence point back into cinematography and photography.
Now we actually have color grading now going on in photographs now. Because a photograph has to, it's the way your photographs has to look for them to trace it back to your brand.
In cinematography, we talk about things like tone, mood.
Exactly, mood.
So you seem to be telling us now that photography too has adopted that concept of tone. The mood of the production.
Exactly. So when you see a picture, I have to tell the photographer that took it, because it's what they call picture branding. After taking pictures in a certain way consistently, and people see your brand name attached to it, they kind of actually recognize your picture anywhere else without the brand.
Because of the mood that you create around it.
Yes.
There's also something about the ambience.
Ambience also.
You seem to be bringing all of those elements to bear on the final outcome of the photography process now.
Yes.
Then you guys are involved in post-production.
Yes.
As we have in movie and television production.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
So you have to refine your images. You take a raw image, you have to refine it. Because you cannot give me a raw rice. You need to make it into jollof rice or fried rice. And
garnish and embellish.
Yeah, that's what makes it interesting, make it delicious.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So photography business has gone beyond just having a studio somewhere and getting people to sit down and snap.
And the reason why they come back is because of these things. Because we find out that the economy is not what it used to be. So you have to give a reason why they have to come back.
They must spend their money.
Yeah, must spend it. Why would I spend my money on this next year? Okay, I'm spending it this year. How will I come back next year? What will make me come back?
So your strategy for getting patronage, despite the difficult economic situation, is to ensure that you keep increasing the value that the clients get.
You need to increase that value
from every
That's
shoot.
the reason why they come back and return.
And so you are constantly thinking of different ways by which you can increase the value.
Exactly.
People say the way you stand is the way you appear in photography. It's no longer like that. It's no longer like that.
No, it's not like that.
Fantastic. So if I'm training to be an entrepreneurial photographer now, then I have to begin to read widely and fastly, and crane my neck beyond the photography sector to look at what architects, cinematographers, fine artists, sculpturists, and all of those people are doing.
Exactly. You bring all those elements together.
And begin to fuse it into a brand essence that is unique to you.
Exactly.
Now, you talked earlier about a plan. That didn't escape my attention.
Yes.
I just didn't want to explore that so that we don't digress away from the point you were making.
Yes.
What is it about a plan? Because we only think of business plan when we think of manufacturing business. What is the essence of a business plan to photography business?
Okay, just like we have draftsman, we have the architect also.
Yeah.
A draftsman just assumes, okay, the room is here, the bedroom is here, and that, and makes a drawing and just gives it out.
Just dimensions.
Yeah, just dimensions, just
and layouts.
And layouts. But the architect will sit down and say, okay, the light is coming from this position. There has to be this here, this here. The toilet cannot be the here and here. You understand? It puts a plan in place. So also we do. The reason why they come back is the plan. So in the plan, we try and tie the old journey to we call it a memorabilia.
Okay.
We give them a plan, put them in front of their face. We don't assume that they always come back. Okay, we're actually taking the maternity picture now. If you come
the
3 months,
bumps.
Yeah, bumps. From that point in time, that's why you market them ahead further. You don't wait, okay, you because they're actually creating fancy setups. That's really no. Sometimes it don't work.
So you have to proactively, get them
talk to them, market them for the next milestone, and market them to the okay. We say maternity to 1 year old is a milestone, is a grand milestone. That's 1 year is a grand milestone.
Yeah.
Then from 2 year old, you can still take to 5 year old. That's another milestone. Milestone stage or journey. So let's start from maternity to 1 year old. So we put before them some juicy deals at the 1 year old. If you can attain this milestone and milestone with us, at the 1 year old, you will get this deal. So that give them something to look out for. That we are 3 months old picture. We must take it with attitude though, because we have to what? Get this deal at the end of the day.
Wow. So there are promotional strategies attached to timelines or milestones.
Exactly.
Wow.
So that's the reason why they come back.
You want to share? You want to share with us some of those promotional strategies?
Okay, we have. I would want to mention some brands now, but we have in partnerships with some brands, such that for the 1 year, which is a major milestone, parents want to do parties, and for those who don't want to do parties, they want to in quote impress their child. So there's some brands we partner with that give us some products at discounted price. Most times to market their product also, and we give to these kids.
Really?
Yes.
What other things do you do?
So in terms of the marketing also, we try and ensure that we are in touch, which is very important.
Yeah.
It's very easy for you to have a lot of customers and not be in touch with any of them.
True. Especially if you're a busy person.
Yes, because we need to intentionally put the dates. These are dates. Once a customer, once a woman is pregnant, the doctors give them, we call it expected delivery date. So also, once a customer comes to take 3 months old picture, that same day, we now calculate 3 months after her head and say in 3 months time, the customer will come and take a 6 month picture.
Yeah.
So before that date, we try and remind the customer that they come around, because it's very easy to forget.
So that means you seem to be telling me now, you are blowing my fuse actually, that you keep a data.
Yes.
So you have a data bank somewhere.
Exactly. We have somebody that will manage that data bank.
You actually have an officer that manages.
Yes,
that's his own job.
That's his own job. He has to look at the dates. Today is 2nd of January. We took a picture of a 4-year-old today. Then.
So that means by June 2nd, that child is 6 months old.
Yeah.
And he knows that he has to.
So maybe a week before, he's trying to market. Okay, a child is going to be 6 months old. So and so dates. So if friend now becomes very interested. Wow. So actually keeping dates, keeping tabs with my dates.
I will be interested.
So it's like, wow, they're actually interested in us. They're actually thinking about us.
So you kept us in mind.
Kept us in mind.
Coming up,
Now, there is a marketing strategy that you've also adopted, which you have been dodging to tell us, but our research told us about it, which I also want to extract from you before you leave the studio today. We also hear that you have this classification and category. What other things do you do?
Okay, in terms of marketing.
In terms of marketing and customer retention.
Okay, one other thing we do is that we ensure that our customers don't go one day without seeing our new posts. Because you have to be in touch with us. So when they come around, we ask for their
social media
handles, because we need to constantly keep putting our pictures in front of their eyes, in front of them, so that they can keep dreaming about their own milestone experience also.
Their upcoming
milestone experience. So a customer's daughter is 1 year old today, and looking forward to a 2-year-old experience. So keep putting 2-year-old experiences in front of them.
So it's not only the anniversary dates that you archive in your data bank, you also archive their social media handles, so that you can keep in touch with them. So there's an handshake every day between your organization's products and the clients that you service.
We do WhatsApp status.
Wow, on WhatsApp status you also post stuff also like that.
I'll do sponsor posts. So we target customers within regions also.
Sponsored, that you actually pay advertisement.
Exactly, at once.
So instead of going to the radio and television to advertise with jingles, you rather just put your products on social media and pay some money to the social media companies to
run it for you. Because you have to understand how your customer gets attention is very important. We find that most of our customers are more of social media customers.
Okay.
They are most of social media savvy customers.
Okay.
So by doing one billboard, is the limited people we are reaching. Probably we do a billboard only when we need to reach new customers.
At any rate, I might not drive past that route in months.
So that's it. So,
and if you do it, sometimes we don't listen to radio or watch television for days, but everybody is on social media every day.
So
I want to reckon. So I think that's another fantastic marketing strategy. Now, there is a marketing strategy that you've also adopted, which you have been dodging to tell us, but our research told us about it, which I also want to extract from you before you leave the studio today. We also hear that you have this classification and categorization, in your packages, as I will call that. Tell us about it.
Okay, we discovered that different customers have different disposable incomes.
Okay.
So we categorize our packages to fit into those customers, in that we don't want to miss out on any customer.
So different economic demography has been captured. So you created different packages that will suit their economic state.
Exactly.
Tell us in specific terms what you have done.
So we have a basic package.
Basic.
So that basic package, what it entails is just having some customers just want is having their a milestone documentary done. They don't care regardless of the prop or whatever. Just want the documentary done.
Just take my picture.
With the one figure.
Yeah.
So we do that with the basic package. So we go over to our classy package, which is for customers who want a bit more than just that.
Okay.
They want fancy background, they want a prop here, and something simple.
Okay.
Also, so we do that also. Then also with those packages, they are time based to them. For the basic package, we put there 30 minutes.
For the photo shoot. It's just 30 minutes.
30 minutes. So that gives the customer the idea that, okay, you just want to document your child for memory's sake.
And whatever you have to do, you only have a window of 30 minutes.
Exactly. So that pegs the number of clothes they can change into already automatically.
Yeah.
So with the class package,
and the number of shots they can get.
Eventually. So we now all the way down to the premium package.
No, let's stress
Okay.
it. You have the basic.
Basic, yes.
And you've told us what the basic
Exactly.
will enjoy and what it will not enjoy.
Exactly.
What's the next in line?
The next one is the classic package.
Classic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the classic package just talks about having a bit more than what basic enjoy in terms of more soft copies, in terms of time. You understand? So we do
the
that.
duration of the shoot.
Duration of the shoots.
So for basic is 30 minutes. How many minutes is the classic?
Classic package, you have 1 hour.
1 hour.
One
Okay.
hour. So with that, we can actually change to three or four times.
Okay. So next to the classic is what?
You have the premium package.
Premium.
So with that premium package, that one has to do with us coming up with the themes we talked about
Okay.
for them. We sit down with the customer. This package is not a walk-in package. We just walk in and just want to do premium. No, we don't do it. You do have a pre-consultation with us. You let us know your preferences.
So
Okay.
for premium package,
Yeah.
there's pre-consultation.
Exactly.
Wow.
We talk about the preferences of your child. Okay, she loves this cartoon.
Wow.
She loves this. So we create what they call something they call a milestone board.
This is like a theme pack.
Exactly for them.
Whoa. Whoa.
So we have the milestone board for this cartoon character. We discuss the outfits. Oh, this outfit is good for beach.
Really?
Yeah, this outfit is good for this character. We have a native.
That's what we do with TV commercial.
Okay.
What you're doing now.
Okay.
I mean, we take a brief from the client. We engage with the client by asking questions, clarifications. Then we go and form a storyboard.
Exactly.
Come back to present to the client, clarifications, modifications, review. You know, before we shoot at all, a lot will have gone behind the scene
Exactly.
in TV commercial.
That's
And you
it,
seem to be incorporating that into photography
Exactly.
business.
That's very important.
You're,
we need to.
you're blowing my mind. You're blowing my
We need to do
mind.
that.
So the pre-consultation session is where you explore the lifestyle
Exactly.
of the child,
Child.
the circumstance of the child, the nature, the likes, the preferences, his outlook and personality type,
Exactly,
among other
exactly.
things.
Very important.
And you document all
You
that.
have to do that.
What next?
That makes the photograph. That's why most times you see certain pictures come out better than certain pictures because of this pre-consultation. You have to know that every child has their unique personality type and their unique timing in terms of mood. In terms of some children sleep at a certain time, wake up at a certain time, and we are playful at certain times. So you, as a child, as a mother, you understand those times. So we ask you, okay, what are the times time frame where your child is mostly agile
and active.
So
Whoa.
these are the times you target to come around. So we give you that, we afford you that time.
Wow. Wow. So all of these things you now incorporate into the shoot strategy.
Exactly.
So I reckon also that you perhaps would want to find out what the child's lifestyle is like.
Exactly.
What kind of school he goes to.
Exactly.
And what kind of mall, when he goes to the mall, how does he respond to the various things around it.
Him, yeah.
And all of these things is like,
very
it's like a map.
Exactly.
You know, of a child's life
Exactly.
before you shoot. But a lot of people out there will say, it's not just to shoot, not be just to shoot photo.
Okay, that's why you see some certain pictures stand out than some pictures because of those pre-consultation. So when you take picture the first time, it looks interesting and what do you call it, social media worthy. That when you just post it, wow, these pictures are very interesting, and you see the connection between you and the subject, and it's very phenomenal. These are the reasons why. Those background checks is what makes it so and so.
You strike me as somebody who is a voracious reader.
Yeah.
Because how did you learn all these things that you have evidenced in your marketing strategy?
It's very interesting. It's like that. By understanding the environment we are in,
Yeah.
by understanding the disposable income of people,
Yeah.
by understanding that certain things work for certain types of children
Yeah.
that don't work for certain people.
Yeah.
So over the time, experiential knowledge kicks in.
Yeah.
When we do this for a certain time, it has not worked. So why continue? So we need to change our strategy and change our approach to it. So we sit down and stop and say, what are we doing right? What are we not doing right? What are things we are doing right? We need to continue.
Yeah, but you see, experiential knowledge, yes, helps.
Yes.
But what I've seen you display is largely cognitive knowledge. And that's why I'm interested in exploring that angle. Because, I mean, this program is about celebrating entrepreneurs that have applied innovative thinking into their entrepreneurial activities.
Yes.
And innovation does come on the spur, but many times you have to nurture your mind for it to produce innovative ideas for you. And so that's why I'm interested. Maybe you're trying not to let out your secret, the secret of your trade.
Well, basically, when I was in, I grew up being attempting to be different from every other person.
Okay.
Yes, because I found out that normalcy doesn't sell.
Really?
Yes. You have to be a bit different for you to be noticed.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I was young, when people put on black suits, I put on red. I just want to be noticed. You have to notice. We have to.
Yeah,
notice
because when you walked in, and I've seen that you always have this cap.
Exactly.
I mean, the few times that I've interacted with you, because like I said, we spied on you a couple of times. We have our way of, doing our own espionage activities on businesses.
Okay.
And I noticed that you have this trademark cap, which ordinarily, if I was putting on my agbada, it would not be out of place. But you wear it with even tees sometimes, even with your jacket.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, now I understand why. It's your desire to be different.
Yes.
So you always try to seek to be different.
Exactly.
In your conduct and in your activities. Isn't that risky?
It's for me, getting attention, getting noticed, has worked a lot for me.
Okay.
Out of the myriad of people around, because at the end of the day, customers, you are one choice in the sea of so many customers and so many other vendors that you could have patronized. So why did they actually make a choice of you out of the many vendors that could have been?
So one is to figure out a way to stand out.
Stand out from the crowd. That's the reason why they will single you out and say, this is the person I want to use.
Let's test this guy.
Yes. So those key factors. It could just be one prop.
So you're always looking out for how you can do things differently.
Yes.
You don't follow the herd.
You have to follow the herd. Most times, I was actually passing along Goshode sometimes. My wife gave birth to a newborn baby. I was passing along Goshode sometimes. I just saw some certain sponge along the road, a lady selling sponge. It now struck me that these things we use for newborn shoots. I just purchased about 7 of them. When I got back home, I just saw the magic.
Traditional sponge.
Yeah. So I just saw the sponges. I said, I can combine these things together with these 4 and to make a very beautiful picture for my newborn. And eventually I put that together. Eventually it makes sense.
You used it as props.
As props for it. And it made a whole lot of sense. That picture for me is one picture I cherish. I have that picture in my mind every time when I see my daughter.
How do you nourish and nurture this artistic inclination that you seem to evidence every time in your work?
Okay, I try as much as possible to maintain a frame of mind every time I'm with myself.
Okay.
I'm more of an inward person, very interesting. I do inward prospecting.
Okay.
So when I'm my all alone, I try and enter my elements.
Whoa. Now,
either by reading books, either by going through my journals, either by visiting my my previous works So I still go back to my drawings when I was drawing my archives of pictures.
So internal journey is something you practice frequently.
Yes, I'll always return to my foundation. That's I don't leave my person. Yes, and that persona, while I was growing up, is what I always return to every time.
Now, Mr. Fashesi, I've been itching to ask. I've seen the passion that you have demonstrated about this, your photography business. So I'm inclined to ask, would there ever be a time when you will leave the photography business?
Oh, there will never be a time where I'll leave photography business.
Whoa.
Never be.
Talk about a dying passion for a profession. Mr. Adedayo Fashesi, I want to thank you very much for spending part of your time with us on the program today.
My pleasure, sir.
And on that very positive note, I'd like to say kudos to you once again.
Thank you, sir.
More successes ahead.